On.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to Dojo Live, connecting with tech experts like you. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Kim Lantis, and I'm here from one of Nearsoft's offices in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Joining me is fellow teammate Tulio Siragusa
Hi,
from
good
Los
afternoon.
Angeles. Hello, Tulio, as well as Carlos Ponce from Mexico City.
Hi, Jen.
Today, we'll be talking with, hi, Carlos. Today, we'll be talking with David Armstrong, who is CEO of Travel Pirates. Hey, David.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I understand you're originally from the United Kingdom. Where are you today?
Actually, I'm in San Francisco right now visiting
Oh,
the I4 Travel Conference.
perfect. I was going to have to apologize for making you stay up so late.
No.
Perfect. So, David, as the CEO of Travel Pirates, why don't you tell us a bit more about you as well as Travel Pirates itself, please?
Yeah, so about myself, I'm actually not from the United Kingdom, but we're based there also with one of our
Forgive me, I'm
entities.
sorry. I
Yeah,
understood you were.
no. I hope I would have a different accent then if I were from the United Kingdom. But I'm actually a Canadian, but I was born in the US and I grew up in Germany, so I have like a unpredictable accent. I worked in travel, the last 20 plus years throughout different verticals, and have been brought on board to the Holiday Pirates group, which is based in Europe, headquartered in Berlin, Germany, and I also head the US entity, which is the Travel Pirates Corporation, based in Boston. What we do, we have a 210 people globally searching for awesome value for money travel deals and publish them on social media, predominantly Facebook, but others as well by now, and generate traffic through social media. That's what we do in a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you. That actually brings us back to your chosen topic for the day of successfully acquiring traffic through the power of social media. You said that you have a recipe for going viral, and there's a specific number of paying only 7% of your traffic. So 7% is a kind of funny number to me. We're used to seeing 5, 10, 25. So can we talk about that 7%? And then also, just what is that recipe?
So
If you can give away the secret sauce.
Well, sure. So 7% is an actual number. I mean, if we were to say 5 or 10, would be like a guess. I would say 7% is the actual number figure that we had last year in 2017. We never spent a dollar or a euro or a pound in Google ads so far. We only spend money on ads in social media, predominantly Facebook, as I said. And the amount of traffic we pay for is only 7% globally seen. Everything else is organic. So we get organic traffic from social media, but also from Google. Of course, people see are in touch with our brands, and by focusing on social media, we have managed to become the largest travel brand in social media globally. We're nearly hitting 10 million Facebook fans in a few weeks, I would suppose, and yeah, that's what we do.
That's amazing. Congratulations. So what was the root of this idea, of this aha? Was it something that happened organically as well, or was it something that was calculated and thought out?
It wasn't calculated at all. So it was, the idea was to search for awesome travel deals and share them on social media. There was no plan to build a real business out of it. It was more like sharing, or not having to repeat over and over again to friends and family how to find a good deal. Can you help me find a deal? and so on. Everyone who's in the travel space knows those questions. So it was, finding awesome airfare or hotel deals or packages, posting them on their own website, but also pushing them on the Facebook page, and telling everyone, okay, just look it up there. If you want information, just look it up, and do it yourself.
That's fun. So then there's this real deep passion, I guess, of travel for you. You were saying you were born in Canada, grew up in Germany.
Yes.
And you work in the United States. So travel is, of course, of your heart, what you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I could go even further. So my mother's Argentine and my father's of British descent. So
you're a Heinz 57.
Yeah. So I know I don't look like a blend, but I am a quite of a blend inside. So yeah, it's all about travel, different cultures, different languages, mentalities. I really love, and it's about addressing especially the millennial traveler out there. Most travel brands and established travel businesses struggle in addressing millennials because the brands that have their email newsletters and so on, millennials do not subscribe email newsletters, and they don't even read emails anymore. So how do you address them? How do you reach them? And so what we do is we help traditional suppliers, OTAs, and so on, show their offers if they are really good, and spread them out to the millennials in the different countries we serve. We operate in 10 different countries, so that's nine European and the US. Where we're closely looking towards Asia and South America as next steps, but yeah, the US is our focus right now.
Very good. I was going to ask you, so when it comes to millennials in this new generation, does a lot of this approach have to do sort of with the spontaneity of the generation, the lack of, I guess, without having the tendency of planning ahead? I think it's, in the past, it was very clear cut. You get your X amount of vacation days and you utilize them and whatever else. Is that part of the reason why you find that social media is so successful?
Partly, but it's not all about being flexible and spontaneous, being able to hop on an awesome deal, a flight next week or so, or having to decide right now within 5 minutes to book a flight leaving in November or December. Not many people can make these decisions right away. There's a lot of planning, with family partners and so on. So that's sort of, people that are flexible, they can do that, but the majority is not. No, it's more about inspiration. It's more about trusting brands. Millennials really have become or also learn to be reluctant towards traditional advertising, brands trying to sell them something, and that's not our approach. We what we do is we find deals from other suppliers or from OTAs, and just say, okay, guys, we found this. If you're interested, go and look at it, and if not, then don't. So it's not a pushy sales approach. It's just, hey, check this out if you want, and if not, then don't. And so that gives sort of a trust in our brand that we only publish or push things that are really, really good offers. If we were to promote and show something that is not really good, people would say, okay, why are you showing this? So we always have to have this high standards of quality to work along, to keep people's attention, but to also constantly build the trust and have them come back to us and also search for their annual leave, instead of only being inspired from offers that we were pushing.
Hey, David, I have a question. Can you walk us through your business model? Are you selling directly to consumers, or you're licensing the platform to the OTA and representing them? How does it work?
So we are not a typical online travel player that's out there. We partner up with OTAs, with airlines, with tour operators, with all kinds of suppliers, hotels, and so on. Also with meta search, and wherever we find a very, very good value for money deal, we publish it. That can also, be found with an OTA that we don't have an agreement in place, but it's so good a deal, we just have to push it out to our followers and fans. Of course, we try to bring in, pull in commercial agreements with OTAs and other suppliers. So we base them on a rev share model or a traffic or even a media model, depending on what works best for that supplier. But the credo is to never publish something that we wouldn't book ourselves. So it has to be real good content. That's the key to the success on social media, to be authentic and really having people trust your brand, and not showing, hey, we have this on stock, we want to sell it, so come and book it. That's not our approach.
So from a user experience, who owns that? Once you expose the offer, it's got good content, it's interesting, someone's interested, they want to go book it. Do you maintain the experience, or do you hand it over to the agency that's offering that? How does that work today?
So today it's different in the several markets. Predominantly today, we hand over the customer to the partner, so it's a referral from our platform to the OTA or to the airline and so on. In markets like Germany, in the UK, we have partly begun to convert business on our website directly through technical solutions, and that's the clear path that we're going to go in most countries for the largest verticals. We of course will never have a 100% solution in place. That's not feasible. But like a 70-30 or 80-20 solution should be fine to achieve at some point, to hold the user experience in our hands and convert on our website.
In those markets where you're beginning to test managing the user experience yourself, is there a better conversion you notice? I'm asking this question because I would wonder how well it converts once I get a great exposure to an amazing deal, and then sometimes you end up on a site that's not exactly representative of the experience I just had. So are you getting better conversion in those markets? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't talk about conversion rates, but that's clear. So we have a clearly much better conversion if we don't refer to somewhere else. That's clear. So it's nearly double.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit, just shifting gear a little bit, tell us a little bit about your culture, your company's culture, your people. What are some of your guiding principles? We're always curious to learn from companies like yourself what you're doing that's working.
Yeah, so I would claim,
especially with 10 different countries and 10 different languages, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 10 countries, yeah, and I think it's like 7 languages, because luckily enough, it's like the UK and the US is almost the same language, I would
almost
say.
be the key word.
Yeah.
I read the Harry Potter books, and there was a couple times where I was like, have to use
Yeah.
context here because I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So it's like a 95% match, I would say, and that applies also to Germany, Austria, and the German-speaking part of Switzerland, for example. So so there are actually 7 languages we serve. Yeah. So the majority of our staff is based in Berlin, in Germany. We're in total we're almost heading 220 employees. 170-ish are based in Berlin. We do have, I think, currently 35 different nationalities in our organization. It's very, very diverse. And the key thing is, so on the one hand, to really have this open-mindedness of different cultures, religions, and so on in the company, serving those different markets. But it's key to have the people in place that really understand the different markets. So we couldn't market and serve Spain if we hadn't have people in Spain, namely in Sevilla, running an office in Seville, or in France, running an office in Lyon. We do, however, have some Spanish and French colleagues working from the headquarters for some of the functions in the markets. That also applies to the UK and to all the other markets. But we have like a two-way strategy. We're focused on localization wherever it's necessary and makes sense. And then we have, whatever we can centralize in our headquarters is centralized. Talking about our culture, I would claim that we're not a typical company. I mean, we're way out of the startup phase. We're like over 6 years old now. We never took venture capital, never external funds. From the beginning, still privately held, profitable, and so that's a big part of the culture, is that we're not driven by having to tell stories about our success to investors or to anyone. We're just we're successful, and we're doing it for ourselves and for our staff. And many companies claim that that they don't have that many hierarchies and so on and so forth. We do have hierarchies, but the thing is, and you need them, but the thing is, we don't really live along them. Everyone can approach me, and I really encourage everyone to speak up and tell me, I have an idea, or this and that is going wrong here, or why is this so? So we really try to involve the entire crew, wherever they sit, in every decision that we make in the company, and have everyone understand why we're doing this and not that. So people are really aligned and really stand behind every decision we take, every route we go, and that's paying off so far.
Great. I have 2 more questions, and I'll pass it back to Kim for some more. But I'm curious about 2 things. One is, I mean, there's obviously massive amounts of data and information that you have to curate and distill to actually make intelligent decisions on what to offer the consumer. How are you doing that? What schema are you using to do that? Are you using any data science or AI or things of that nature? And then the second question is, how are you extracting that information from the likes of Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and so forth? And what are some of the challenges you're facing there?
So yeah, personalization and relevance are topics that really are on our agenda. We have a lot of data. We gather a lot of data. We have access to a lot of data. Working with social media platforms such as Facebook, people share data with us, and that's totally transparent, and so we can do something with that data. We gather a lot of data through, you know, how users use our website, what they do. What our challenge is to you know, identify the users and work out patterns, because, you know, almost 80% of our traffic is mobile. So people using our app or on the mobile device, that lies in the nature of social media. Most people, you know, check Facebook on their smartphone. So, and whenever they come across a great deal, they just click on it, and then they land on either within the app or in the on the mobile page. And so, but at some point they come back to the desktop to book, you know. So it's and I think most companies have this challenge to this friction in there, understanding, okay, who was the mobile user that then later on converted on the desktop. So these are things we're trying to figure out more and more, and then also not only personalize and make, you know, push messages more relevant to our users. We don't only communicate on Facebook, or show in the news feed. We also push to our over 10 million app downloads messages when when there's a good deal. We have like over 1 million WhatsApp subscribers. That WhatsApp is a quite big thing over in Europe, at least. We're looking into ways of using other instant messaging platforms to communicate with our followers and fans. So there are many ways we communicate, and we also, if you're one person, we don't want to spam you with the same information on all these different devices and channels. We want you to tell us, okay, I would prefer to get an email, if that's the case, or a push notification on the app or on Facebook or whatever, so you don't get spammed. So these are the things we're looking at right now.
Great, congratulations on all your success. Someone once told me Argentinians or Italians who speak Spanish but think they're British.
Yeah, that's quite. That's right.
True?
That's true. So I think even at some point they had the Argentinians had to vote whether or not Spanish or Italian would become the language of the official language, and it almost was Italian. So
wow.
Yeah. Because at some point they had so many Italian immigrants. And yeah, my mother has Spanish and Italian ancestry, so yeah.
So do I. Kim, back to you.
Yes, thank you. No, I was just very curious. So you mentioned Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, which actually WhatsApp is a big deal in Mexico where we are. Not so much in the United States, I've noticed. So with the social media, I guess, are you finding that it's successfully trending more in one direction? I mean, Facebook is like, whenever somebody says social media, the first thing that's come to mind is Facebook. But are there those little nuggets of like, ooh, potential, and how are you identifying those?
Yes, so I mean, Facebook is our main, main source of, inspiration and, getting in contact with people, and also how we, generate new fans, because the mechanics of Facebook are really, really great, because if we manage to post great content, then it's obviously liked and shared, and so that's how we organically grow our user base on Facebook. But when it gets to people wanting to not miss out on a good deal, get personalized things pushed at the time, that they're there, then it's better to have a one-to-one communication. So having a push message on WhatsApp, or perhaps also on a Facebook Messenger if the person wants that, or an email or whatever, or the app. So the one-on-one communication is very important to many of our clients, because they know, okay, but they have to be sure, we don't send them anything that they wouldn't be interested in. As soon as they understand, okay, it's random stuff, and and then it's a lot of stuff that is not really relevant to me, then they would unsubscribe and or not pay attention anymore. So you have to find a very, very good balance and be careful.
So a lot of that, I've heard you say the word inspiration, inspiring again and again, and you're all about that user experience. So to give us an idea of how you're able to achieve that, I believe you mentioned 210 employees and growing.
Yes.
What's that division look like? Like, I mean, there's a huge undertaking in all of this, and filtering and managing and programming. So would you say like your split is to developers, to UX, to customer, direct customer relations? What does it look like to have to manage something of this magnitude?
So roughly, I can tell you in product and IT, we have it's around 60 people. So developers and product people, including UI, UX, and so on. Social media is around, I would say, 25, 30. Marketing, another 20. That includes, online marketing, CRM, all these kinds of things. And then a great part of our operations are our content people, our editors, we call them, travel deal hunters. In normal sized countries, we have like 4 to 5 editors, and in larger countries they're like 6 to 8, and they really drive the content. We've developed software that helps them find good fares, airfare, for example. We have a software that goes and compares within different sources and tries to find anomalies in airfare, and then the system pops that up to the editor and says, hey, I found this, do you think it's a good deal? And then if the editor says, yeah, it's a good deal, then they grab that, and they push an article out on social media, and that the editorial team is about 70, 75 people altogether, serving these 10 markets. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, Kim, that's amazing. I just have to chime in something real quick. I've heard many times someone says, I want the kind of job where I get paid to go shopping. So if someone wants to get paid to go shopping for deals, this is the company to go look for. Go work for these guys. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I was really interested. I actually surprised by the large portion of editors that you have, but I like this where you have this marriage of technology with the human side still. I think that we're still not at that place where a machine or software is able to determine for us or create that inspiration, like you say. So the software helps weed it out, and then your editors are who make the ultimate decision and add that life to what you're looking for.
Right, and your followers on Facebook and on other channels would really notice and feel that it's something that it's not pushed by a human, that it's not curated content for that specific deal. Putting in experience that this editor might have had traveling to that destination. People just notice that it would be from a bot or from a system, and they wouldn't pay that much attention. It would not be authentic, and that's what many of the traditional travel companies do not understand, because when it comes to servicing people or creating content, they want to automate everything, have everything super streamlined and automated, but that's not how you are successful on social media.
It's interesting. When I was younger, I'm probably dating myself here. We used to go to a travel agency to book a trip, whether it was a business trip or a vacation. It was a very personalized, concierge, high-touch service. And are you saying that what people really want is the ease of use of technology, but still the personalized human touch experience? Is that what's missing that you're really taking care of right here?
In a nutshell, it's actually trust. So the first steps in this trust was, review platforms like TripAdvisor and so on, where people just want to be sure to book something that many people have rated good or very good. So just to not have a bad experience when you end up traveling there. And in the end, it's about trust. So if back in the days when you had your travel agent, you normally went to the person you knew because you had a good experience the last time, and you know that he or she wouldn't sell you something just to sell something, because the person knows if it's not a good experience, you will come in person to the travel agency and sit in front of him or her and tell her something. So and so with OTAs, things changed because it's more or less anonymous. And if you have a bad experience, yeah, you can write an email, or you can write a letter or whatever. But it's not that the trust is not that big, because you cannot really make a person accountable for something that went wrong. It's just an OTA or it's an airline, but it's not a person that you really have a relationship with. So and we're something in between, because social media really helps us to and our fans to have this kind of transparency that builds trust in the end. Because if we say, okay, go on this, and it's something bad, or if it's a bad supplier, or if there's a bad experience, we will hear from that on Facebook, and everyone will be able to read it. It's very transparent. So that, in the end, that's a form of making people accountable for something, and also us having the pressure of not selling or promoting something that will end up in a bad comment on social media for us.
Very good. David, we're coming down to the end of our half hour today. So, of course, if you have anything else that you'd like to mention, please do so. My only question was, I really like this idea, the inspiration, the community, the trust, the relationship that Holiday Pirates, Travel Pirates is building with their followers. How is it that with, so many people on board, 70, 80 editors, that you keep this sort of one voice? Can I go to any one of those entities and feel like it's that, this is Travel Pirates, this, or do you change that voice in accordance to the following of the different countries and cultures? Is my question clear?
Yeah.
Like, is there this identity of Travel Pirates, community,
yes,
family?
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's a buzzword, but we do have a DNA in the company, and I think we do a good job in preserving it and transporting it to every new pirate that joins the crew. But it's hard work, definitely, because it's about how we, of course, every market, every country, every people have a different mentality. So we, of course, the Spaniards, approach or maybe use different wording slightly than perhaps the Italians or the Germans, because it's just appropriate in Spain, but it wouldn't be in Germany. So you have to, in order to be authentic in that market, you need the people that know the market and, of course, our mother tongue and can handle it. But the core DNA of how we approach and how we do things is the same. We try to preserve that, and we put a lot of effort in that as well.
So how's that done? You have core values that you focus on and promote. Is that all the way going back to just your hiring of the people you choose to work with, as well as the companies that you choose to work with? How do you protect that DNA, and what are your few key ingredients to creating that?
Yeah, so it really starts with the hiring process. I mean, we're very transparent on on our websites, but also on LinkedIn, for example, about our values and who we are, what we do. You can find a lot of posts across these media where you, as a candidate, really get the sense of who we are and how we do things. Of course, our HR department really tries to bring that across as well, and to understand if the candidate is someone that really fits to the team, to our values too. And then it's about integrating the people into the teams and showing them in practice how we come about our job, how we live along these values. And it's not about it's not a religion or so, not to get me wrong, but it's we put our users, our followers in the focus, and that's how also that the business started. It didn't start with a business plan. It was never meant to be a business like this, and to earn money with it. It was putting good content, and by doing that, traffic and revenue and profits more or less came on their own. And so that's what we try to transport, and don't be too business focused. Focus on what you think, what we think our users want to see, and what's good content, and the business is actually on second.
Right, I love that. Very good. I think that's a very amazing note to actually end our conversation today. It seems to be a common thread amongst some of the most impacting businesses that are out there. So very cool. Did you have anything else to share with us, or Tulio, any other questions today? I know we're coming up to the end of our time today.
No questions here. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you exist. I'm excited of this offer.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
Our pleasure, David. David, real fast, if people want to know more about you or Travel Pirates, what's the best way to find that information?
Well, first of all, on our download our app or like us on Facebook right away. Then you'll see the awesome deals in your news feed, or download the app, and you can whenever you want, or just visit the website, of course.
Awesome, and that's both Android and iOS, I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, so Travel Pirates, and
right.
You can rattle. That's the United States. Holiday Pirates for Europe based, correct?
Holiday Pirates for the UK, and then we have local brands in local languages in the other countries. Perfect.
But I'm assuming following one can help you find the others as well, if that's
right.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
All right, amazing.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure for all of you. Carlos, I believe Dojo Live's taken a break for a few weeks. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, starting, I'm going to be personally like away from this for a couple of weeks, and we're going to be restructuring a few things, and I'll keep you posted on that, Kim and Tulio as well. But David, just so that you know, of course, if you or your audience or anyone who's interested in travel pirates would like to know more, you can find this information right on the Dojo Live website, which is dojo.nearsup.com. All the information to contact David or Travel Pirates is going to be right there. Just keep an eye on that, and also look for this interview right on the interviews menu, which is very intuitive. You can't be missed. And of course, well, the only thing left for me to do is, David, is thank you. Send you a big heartfelt warm thank you for being with us today. And I'll send you shortly the link to this interview with all the updated information, and of course the thumbnail for today's interview right there.
Pleasure.
Yeah. And I wish you great success at I4Travel, and hopefully you're going to be meeting with some of our teammates right or in person. So thank you again.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, David.
Yes.
Really, truly.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Until next time.
Bye-bye.